Well, another expected result. I hate to say it, because honestly, going up against Everton should be we should fight hard, get a win. But honestly, going into it, looking at the lineup, I'm thinking, yep, hitting up to his same old stuff. It's ridiculous. Three biggest problems. One, first and foremost, you're playing Mikel again. He played midweek. First of all, you played him the whole 90 minutes midweek, and Fabregas, and yet you still play him. So even if Mikel was good, the fact that you're playing him full 90 minutes midweek and then starting him again is stupid. So the fact that he is the worst player we have and you're starting him full 90 minutes midweek and then starting him again is just stupid. Second, playing Matic and Mikel does not work because Matic on his own or with Fabregas, whatever, does fine because he defends well. That's what he does. He just defends, and he defends both sides of the field because he knows Fabregas is more of an attacking player, so he does the defensive work for both of them. When Mikel's on the field, he expects Mikel to do his defensive duty, which he does not. Pardon that. Mikel doesn't do his defensive duty well, and so you're practically tying one of Matic's legs behind his back because he has to leave one side to Mikel. He can't try to step in and defend for him, so he's defending his side, which leaves that half of the field pretty much wide open because Mikel's just a cone. And then third and finally, which I thought he wasn't going to do anymore, but for some reason, he did, Fabregas. Up top. Center attacking mid. Yet again. Let me explain why this doesn't work, using a visual representation. This is our lineup. One up top, three behind the attacker, two defensive midfielders, and then four defenders. That's what it's supposed to look like. But with Fabregas, because he's so used to playing center defensive mid, and because that's the player he is, where he drops back, sees the whole field, and then plays it long, he's so used to doing that, that's what he does automatically. So instead of having a player up here, you have a player dropping back in the midfield. So now you've got a cluttered midfield of three, and then you've only got the two wings and a striker up top. So you have nothing up top, pretty much. Not that these players can't do it, but you're lacking something. And here's another example. This happened. I saw this one time during the game, and it led to, just pass, and then Everton got the ball back. And here's why it doesn't work: Costa, Pedro, Willian, Mikel, Matic, Fabregas. Fabregas is playing where it should be right here, but he drops back to right here. Matic and Mikel still stay here because they're the defensive mids. Pedro's out wide, Willian's out somewhat wide. He kind of cuts in a little bit, and Costa's up top. Now, if we had, say, Fabregas in the midfield and Oscar in center attacking mid, Fabregas would be dropping back to the same spot, but we'd have Oscar or somebody right here in behind the striker. So that way, pass, break him open, goal. But instead it was here, there's nobody in the middle because Fabregas is being pulled out of position because he does not used to playing that position. And perfect example right there. Hole in the middle. Pretty much a circle. So that's my biggest problem. Honestly, I could care less that Mikel started because I've kind of come to expect it at this point because Hiddink just, for some reason, sees Mikel as our best player, despite the fact that he does nothing. And so I've come to expect Mikel starting, but the worst thing you can do is put Fabregas out of position because you've already got Mikel, who doesn't count as a player, so you're playing down to 10 men. Putting Fabregas out of position drops us down another player because he doesn't play that position. So now we're down to 9 men. And with Matic playing with Mikel, he can't do what he normally does, so you're cutting him down. So now we're kind of down to 8.5 players up against 11. That's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch. It's frustrating to see. It's frustrating to experience. As a fan, I want to watch a game. I want to get excited. I want to enjoy it. I can't enjoy it when they're playing like this. If we had a good lineup and we played well and we lost, I could have enjoyed it. But no, because Hiddink keeps putting out the same stupid players, keeps putting people out of position, I can't enjoy it anymore. Because every game I go into feeling like, we're going to lose today. And, besides the fact that we're not going to be in Europe next year, this was our last chance to get into Europe. It wasn't a good game. Nobody played well today. Okay, I shouldn't say nobody played well. Cahill played well for most of the game. But aside from that, nobody had a good game today. Overall, Kennedy, I thought, had moments, but he's not a defender. So why not Azpilicueta, Terry, Cahill, Ivanovic? So that way you have 4 defenders back there. Why wasn't Terry playing in the first place? Ivanovic had it. I'm going to get to him in a second. So Kennedy, he's not a defender, so he did the best he could. Up against Lennon, just not... If you're not a defender, Lennon's going to beat you every time, because all he has to do is just cut past you. Oh, I don't know how to defend, and he's gone. But Kennedy did his best, playing out of position. Ivanovic, he's back to the Ivanovic from the beginning of this season. It happened against PSG the first leg. It happened up against Southampton. It happened against, I think, Norwich. Maybe it was Norwich. Anyway, he keeps getting beaten behind. There's a man running here, and he's not ready for it. So ball gets played in behind, and he's just, oh no, I can't get there. It happened on the second goal. It got played in behind. He's not ready for it. Lukaku's in, and boom, goal. He's not good enough. He's going back to the beginning of the season. The first goal, even, Lukaku cut inside, and instead of putting his body in the way to keep him from getting inside, he kind of just stuck a leg out and missed him. You got to do more than that. As a defender, you have to do more than that. Cahill had a good game. The only one really that had a good game. Kind of disappointing on the first goal. Lukaku cut him back and forth, but that was more due to Ivanovic and Mikel not putting in a challenge when they could have. It's kind of hard when a player's cutting back and forth, running at you, to really stay on your feet and try to deny him the goal. At that point, your teammates have put you in such a hard position that there's not much he can do there. Azpilicueta, I thought he had another bad game. I don't know what he's doing, but the beginning of the season, he was solid. He defended well. The second half of the season, for some reason, he started doing so much that he shouldn't be doing. Like, he started doing extra. It's like he's overcompensating for the rest of the defense. And so he ends up flying into a challenge instead of standing the guy up, and the guy just flies past him. He's trying to play that great ball so hard that he ends up mishitting it, and now it's a giveaway. He's just not looked as good. And I think part of that is he's trying to overcompensate for the first half of the season. He's trying to up his game so much that he actually drops it. Into the midfield, Matic, I thought, had an average game. Couple moments where he gave the ball away. But overall, once again, people hating on Matic are idiots because he's clearly the better defensive mid out of him and Mikel. And he for being beside another defensive mid who should be doing his job but isn't, he did the best he could. He defended well. As far as his passing goes, though, it was half and half. A couple of his passes were great, a couple of his passes were giveaways. But defensively, he did as much as he could. Mikel, it's Mikel. What do you expect me to say? If you've watched my reviews before, you know how much I can't stand Mikel. He caused both of the goals. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He caused both of the goals. And I'm not saying it's completely his fault, but he had a hand in both of them. The first one, Lukaku cuts Ivanovic, who should have done better, coming right at Mikel. In fact, it was pretty much an exact replica of what happened on the second goal that PSG got. He should have put in a stronger challenge. This one he didn't even put in a challenge. Midweek at least he kind of stuck a foot in. But this one, Lukaku's right beside him. And in fact, here's Mikel, here's Lukaku. The ball is right here in front of Lukaku and Mikel. All he has to do, get his body in the way. Put a challenge in so Lukaku can't just run straight at Cahill. He just backs off. He does one of these, like, oh, I can't touch him. Are you serious? Are you serious? It's one thing to not want to stick a foot in because you don't want to trip him up and give away a penalty. It's another thing entirely to actually physically back out of a challenge on the top of the box. That, my fellow viewers, watchers of Chelsea, my fellow fans, if you want to call yourselves that, if you're loving on Mikel, that's not good enough. That is embarrassing. As a professional, you should be putting in more than that. That's embarrassing to watch a player pull out of a challenge like he's scared of it. You should be putting your body in the way. You should be at least putting a body on him so he doesn't just have free reign to run right into the box. I mean, that's just, God, when I saw it, I wanted to hurl something at the TV because it was just that bad. But then I realized it's not my TV and I'll have to pay for it if I break it. Anyway. So yeah, just really frustrating. Second goal, in fact, I didn't even think to bring this up. One of the things that I talked about midweek, whenever he played Mikel again instead of Matic, is that against Norwich, Matic started with Fabregas. We went up 2-0, had looked in control of the game. He brought on Mikel for Oscar or something, I think, and moved Fabregas up top. And all of a sudden, Norwich were back in the game. They get a goal a few minutes later, and they're just charging. Looked like they were going to tie it up. Against Stoke, it was Matic and Mikel. We were 1 goal up, looking a bit shaky, but we had pretty good control. Took Matic off. 5 minutes later, they tie it up. In this game, even less time. Against Norwich, it was 8 minutes after he brought Mikel on, gave away a goal. Against Stoke, 5 minutes after he took Matic off, we gave away a goal. Today, the very throw-in after he took Matic off, they give the second goal. Because here's Mikel. I'm going to defend him. Ball bounces off of him. Hardly put in really a challenge. And then Barry just kind of goes past him. Ivanovic, once again, not watching the man run in behind, lays it in behind, Lukaku, goal. So, not only did Mikel have a hand in both goals, one of which was just blatantly not putting in a challenge, also the fact that he took Matic off. Doesn't make any sense at all. It was really frustrating to watch, as always. So, going up further, you've got Pedro and then Fabregas and Willian. Pedro worked hard, but just his crazy legs bother me. He goes legs everywhere, and I'm just like, you gotta stop. You gotta calm yourself down because you're losing the ball because your legs are so crazy. You need to calm. But he does work hard defensively, so I'll give him that. Fabregas, like I said, being played out of position. Did have one ball they laid in well to Costa, but other than that, ineffective in that position. Willian, he's still not having good games. Had a great first half of the season. The only one that had a good first half of the season. And the past few games, just giving away the ball, not defending as well. I don't know what's going on with him, but something's wrong there. And it's really starting to drop off, and that's not a good sign. Costa, I personally thought he was unlucky on the first yellow because, first of all, Barry had put in 2 or 3 tackles and didn't get a yellow, and then Barry puts in another challenge, and because Costa's hand flies and hits him in the face, and he goes down clutching his face, it's a yellow. Come on. But then the second one gets up in his face, like puts his head in. Yeah, that was stupid. That was Costa, under Mourinho, always getting into fights. People start talking about, he bit him on the neck. He didn't. The thing is, he was talking into his neck, and so, you see the mouth open, but what they should really look at is you see the mouth open, and then whenever he like pulls his head away, his mouth is still moving. So it's clear that he's not actually going in to bite him. And if he did, I'm pretty sure Barry would have like said something about it. So I'm obviously the FA is probably going to look at it and be like, oh yeah, he bit him, 5-game suspension or something like that because they're stupid. But it's not a bite. It was just he's talking into his neck, like open his mouth, and that's why it looked like he went to bite him. But I mean, still stupid to get into that kind of fight. But then again, 2 goals down, pretty much out of it anyway, so it didn't really affect too much. But on to the substitutions. First one, Oscar on for Willian. I really would have preferred Traore come on the wing, just because I feel like Costa up top, Traore out wide would have been a much better combination because it worked well against I think it was Norwich maybe. Yeah, it was Norwich. He was out wide, Costa up top. He looked good. I wanted to see a bit more of that. But, bringing Oscar on, okay, give him a chance to do something. Then, give away the goal, bring on Remy for Matic. This is where I gave up altogether on Hiddink. Because not only are you taking off the better of your 2 defensive mids again for, I don't know how many games he's done this now where he's taken off Matic and left on Mikel. The last time he did it was against Stoke, and we gave up the lead there. He does it again here. But not only that, he brings on Remy instead of Traore for a second striker. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. How you can look at Traore, what he's done. Don't look at the PSG game, because that's a completely different game entirely. This is Traore in against a Premier League team. Up against Norwich, up against Stoke, up against who else did he score against? He scored against somebody else. Man City in the last FA Cup round. He looks good. He's working hard. He could really cause some trouble to that back line. But sure, let's put Remy out there, who's been ineffective in every single moment that he's been on the field. Let's just you think smart, Hiddink. You think really smart. It's frustrating. Really, really frustrating to be a Chelsea fan right now. And then finally, after the red card, bring on Terry for Kennedy, I think, which, Kennedy was being played out of position anyway. Maybe his thought process was bring on Terry, and, he's got that fight and desire. It may instill that in the rest of the team, which, he was going hard, but nobody else really was. So, yeah, overall, just it's mainly Hiddink making stupid decisions again. Not that it's completely his fault because the team overall didn't perform well, but some of those decisions that he makes, it just feels like he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, not playing Terry after he's fit to go, and then bringing him in late, which means Kennedy is still being played out of position. You've got Mikel still on the field. Fabregas being played out of position. You're bringing on Remy over Traore. You're bringing on Oscar for the wing, which he's more of a center attacking mid. If you don't understand my frustration, you obviously have no clue about anything. It's really frustrating. It really is the most frustrating thing in the world to watch right now because Hiddink has no clue what he's doing. And frankly, most fans don't know what they're talking about either, because so many of them are like, sell Hazard, sell Matic, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, first of all, Matic is looking good again. He's actually performing again. Hazard, yeah, he's had a bad year. He still has the potential to be one of our best players ever. How old is he, 24 now? He's early 20s still. And last year was just a glimpse of what he has the ability to do, but because he's having a one-off year, yeah, let's sell him. Just like Lukaku, just like Schürrle, just like De Bruyne. Because Lukaku came in and had some bad games, sold him. Because Schürrle wasn't performing to the level we wanted him to, sold him. Because De Bruyne came in for a couple of games, didn't look like we wanted him to, sold him. Are we not sick of all the selling? Is one of Mourinho's biggest flaws not the fact that he sold people way too soon, and now all of these Chelsea fans are like, we need to sell these players now, blah, blah, blah. Just because they're having one bad year, does that not make you frustrated as a person? Obviously, if you're one of those fans claiming sell everybody, you probably hate me right now. I don't give a crap. But I don't get that mindset. I don't understand why people are so upset about this, and yet it's not completely their fault. You know, you can't blame this on one or two players that are underperforming this year. One of which is actually performing again, just not getting enough playing time because Hiddink's an idiot. In fact, the last game where Matic started the whole. Hang on. Yeah, the last game where Matic played the whole game was up against Newcastle. We crushed them 5-1. So, there you go. So, I don't know. I guess that's it for my review. I'm done ranting. I'm sick of it. Obviously, Europe's out of the question now, so best thing we can hope for is hopefully Conte has enough manager power. You know, like Pep Guardiola, if we had brought him in but not made it to Europe next year, enough players would be like, oh, but I'm going to play for Pep because he's got potential. Hopefully Conte can do that. Maybe not, but hopefully we're able to hold on to some of these players that are going to be key players coming up soon. And hopefully he's able to attract enough players so we can get back into Europe next year. But for now, you know, it's Hiddink's show for now. Mikel's going to start every game. He's going to make stupid decisions. He's going to play certain players that should not be playing over other players that should. So all I can do is really complain about it on here, on YouTube. So, yeah. If you want to hear me complain about it more, leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this game, how frustrated you are. And if you're one of those people who loves Mikel and hates Matic and Hazard right now, just go ahead and don't comment, because if you do, I guarantee I will come at you full force with everything I have, with all of the facts and statistics that I could possibly find to show how wrong you are, because I'm getting frustrated with all the people who are like, oh, Mikel, 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 Mikel. And I'm just like, Mikel, Mikel, Mikel. Anyway, so that's it for this review. Now I'll see you at the next game. Peace out.